All right, we are live. What up, Rich? What are you painting today?
Painting the Gate Giants from Gate Gargants from Age of Sigmar. And
Cool. Are these official GW or are these from another company?
GW, yep.
Cool. Sick. Looks great, man. It's really, really cool. I'm going to flip it over to mine. I am going to be painting up some Eldar. I kind of have this idea that I wanted to kind of strip Dark Eldar down a little bit. I don't like all their spikes and stuff like that. And I don't like most of their basic heads. But they've got some really cool bits that I think are more evocative of like the old Eldar Empire, which I always find fascinating. So that's what I'm going to be painting. Rich, I'm going to switch it to you for the first, because I'm going to be getting ready. Okay. So you are camera.
Cool.
Rich, where you been?
Wow, all over the world. Was in Vienna and Austria 3 weeks ago. Got to lift weights in the backyard of Arnold's own house with Arnold.
Oh my God! Tell us about lifting with Arnold.
Well, he wasn't lifting; he was just watching. But yeah, it was great. People were setting personal records. We had classic Vienna food like schnitzel and Kaiserschmarrn, and his mother's house is now a Schwarzenegger museum.
That's awesome.
Run by his high school friend who gave us a tour of the town, and we saw where Arnold proposed to Maria Shriver, his school, his church that he went to, walked the same path he walked to school every day.
It's great. That's cool.
Pretty great. And then also as part of it, one of my clients is a company called Piotnik. And they've been making playing cards for 202 years. And so I got a tour of their 150-year-old factory that's still making playing cards today. That's awesome. That I sell.
That's
so cool. They export worldwide. I saw pallets to like Korea and everywhere else. Pretty amazing stuff. And then went from there to Verco's Vault, painted with Alvis and Simona, who are two Italian artists.
Tell the viewers what Verco's Vault is.
Verco's Vault is a future museum of miniatures painting and miniatures art that's going to happen, open in September. But they have classes taught by world-renowned artists. These guys have worked on many things and also have met Arnold personally because they painted a him on a bike statue for one of the collectible companies.
That's funny. Like a hit motorcycle, I'm assuming from T2.
T2, yep. So, and they got to present it to Arnold personally. So, me and him got to talk about Arnold, what a cool guy he is. But we learned really good airbrushing stuff. I was doing a lot of the stuff on these guys has been airbrushing now that I'm more confident in it. And one of the things I like that I don't have here, here we go. Something you might want to invest in, Robbie.
Ron, I'm going to switch back to you.
So is this apparatus, like some of the good airbrushes have it on the bottom. What this does is it allows you to control your airflow without controlling your temperature, your compressor, so you can put your compressor pretty high up. But one of the things that he taught us to do with it is if you lower this all the way down so there's no air and then just slowly ramp it up, you can create, because we were working on a model that had like skin spots, you can create spots on the body to make it look and resemble that of like age spots and stuff that you would see on a body.
Oh, what's that device called?
Holding the trigger down and then adjusting this back and forth, you can change the size and space of the spots.
That's
awesome.
You
can also control your airflow so that, like, say you want to do a more fine-tuned thing, you can lower the airflow to maybe give you more control and stuff, but without having to do anything with the compressor itself.
What is this device called?
It's just an airflow valve controller.
I'm going to order it.
They come in
now.
They come in a in the quick release top, so you just replace it and then you can put all your airbrushes right on it. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I can't wait to do some more models with it. I'm actually taking that model and working on it for Gen Con. So I don't have it here on stream because it's effing huge. It's like 12 inches tall. Of the Goblin King from the Hobbit movies. The one from the one with all the flab. It was pretty disgusting for the reference material because he used like babies' legs that had like skin diseases. But
yeah, that's pretty scary.
They were perfect for it. That's what he looks like, and that's actually what we called the model as we were working on. He's like, "All right, take your babies out, do this, do that on your baby," because he looks like a giant chubby baby, kind of like the Fire Slayers in Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, have you ever built the Fire Slayer Warcry kit?
Yeah,
it's so much better. If Fire Slayers looked like that rich, I would have a whole Fire Slayer army.
Which one?
The way they look in Warcry. They have a little Warcry.
Oh yeah. No, I
so much better.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Yeah, I really
but
like
again, Warcry was an update, so it makes sense, right?
Oh yeah.
But today, well, this weekend's a little adventure was we went to northern New Jersey, and today the plan was to go to the Frank Frazetta Museum. And we got there, and the road was covered in trees. So I went down another road to try to see if there was a way around it, and there wasn't. But I was like sitting there trying to see where the museum was, and then the house whose parking lot we were sitting in had like a bunch of cool statues on the doorways and stuff. And as I was sitting there, a woman came out and I said, "Hey, what's going on with the museum?" She's like, "Oh, well, we had a tornado come through last night.
Whoa.
All the trees and the museum's closed." I'm like, "Oh, you were to the museum? Are you related to Frank?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm his daughter-in-law." So I got to talk to Frank Frazetta's daughter-in-law, and she was telling me that the trees came down, the power was out. Otherwise, she would have let us go in. But she said there was no lights in there, so there was no way to actually see around or anything.
Dangerous.
So I'm going to have to make another trip, unfortunately. But Frazetta, I think the more I've been watching some videos on it and the history of them and stuff, our hobby wouldn't exist without him. I really believe that.
Tell me about him. I know nothing about this dude.
I mean, Conan was defined by him. The first 3 books, modern Conan books that were compilations of all, was his covers. And people bought the books not because of Conan, but because of his covers. But his Death Dealer, which is oh my god, probably so iconic. They every miniatures company at some point or another has done a model that's an homage to it, including GW, which did the Nurgle character on horseback.
Great character.
Taken right from the pose of the Death Dealer. But the whole idea of chaos and what chaos looks like, I mean, is Frank Frazetta. I mean, there's just.
I also hear it's you like him. He's an author.
Eldar. Michael Moorcock.
Yeah, he came up with there's 4 of them and they represent different.
Yeah, he came up with the idea of chaos versus law, but the iconic, what a chaos warrior looks like, is what a Frank Frazetta warrior.
Yeah, it's kind of like how, to me, Warhammer 40K does not exist without John Blanche. John Blanche is Warhammer.
Or Judge Dredd.
Or Judge Dredd, yeah.
Judge Dredd pretty much set up the AD comics and.
I've been watching Foundation. That's super 40K too.
So is Dune. I mean, there's lots of influences. GW was very good at stealing things. I mean, hell, H.R. Geiger. Tyranids wouldn't exist if it wasn't for H.R. Geiger.
Oh yeah, but they're so much better for him. It gives them a real malice.
I found out from somebody his museum's in Switzerland, which means now I have to go back and go to that because that's got to be incredible.
Oh, Geiger
Museum, yeah.
His museum, I've seen pictures and videos of it, looks awesome. He also seems like he was kind of into minis.
And that, I mean, when
Not our minis, but like, like he has like a big train going around his house that's like a skull, I think.
yeah, it's but yeah, I was really psyched to see Frazetta.
Well,
It's about a 3-hour drive in northern New Jersey.
For anyone wondering, the difference between northern New Jersey and southern New Jersey is about 87 miles. That's the entire totality of the entire state, up and down.
What? How many miles?
I said 87 miles. What is it really? 231?
Something like that. Yeah, the park. Well, but like that area where Frazetta is near the Delaware Water Gap, which puts it like at the very northern tip of New Jersey. That's even further than like the Parkway.
Trust me, gang, when you live in New Jersey, it feels pertinent to label them South and North Jersey.
Well, and then Central too, because there's
Central. Yeah, my sister-in-law, she's from a place that doesn't exist, Central New Jersey.
There is Central New Jersey.
All right.
20 miles east and west of I-90 of 195.
Okay, all right. That's your parameters.
That's I think it is. I mean, how could it be? How could it be any bigger than that?
Well, if the state itself is 231 miles, that means that North can at most occupy what? 115 miles. South gets another 115. We got to cut a middle out of both of or a top end out of both.
20 in each direction. That's 40.
There we go. Mathematically, we did it, Rich. I went to a conference in Long Beach for work.
Oh yeah.
They rented out the big LA aquarium or whatever for the night, and none of the other people there cared about the aquarium. They all just wanted to party and listen to like 2005's greatest hits. Meanwhile, I'm like walking around an aquarium after dark with nobody around. It was awesome. It was really cool. Yeah. I got a lot of B-roll for my Delta Green content I make for my players of all the squids.
Yeah. So the relatives of Cthulhu.
Yep, the descendants.
Creatures from Yugoth.
My players did what I've been doing mostly for my Delta Green games is I conceptualize a Lovecraftian movie or TV show or book, and then my players show up after the credits have rolled to whatever. Like, I'm gonna have them show up soon to. They already did them in the Mouth of Madness town. They already went through that town, blowing up all the fishmen and strange creatures. But that's basically the premise. Every week is a different movie that they're jumping into after the credits are rolled. Which, speaking of which, this might surprise you, Rich, but for the very first time last night, I watched Poltergeist. I've never seen it before.
Really?
Yep. And tell you what, it was a good movie. That's my hot take. It's a good movie. I see what people mean about this Spielberg guy. I think he's got a career. I put you back on cam.
Okay.
But, yeah, it was really, it was good. It was fun. I liked it. Nobody, whenever anyone talks about it, ever mentions to me how Lovecraftian it is. Like, the characters in the story believe it's ghosts that are haunting them. But that flesh tube that explodes out of the wall and tentacles lash out, that sure didn't look like a human ghost to me, Rich.
Yeah, maybe it's a Thakwa with the whole Native American connection.
Well, here's the thing, though. Everyone always told me it was a Native American burial ground.
Yeah. It
isn't. The coffins that come up explicitly, a character denotes that it's from an 1890s watch. And the watch, so it's not a Native American burial ground in the movie. I always thought it was. I even thought the line was, he yelled it. The line has nothing to do with it. The line is, you moved the headstones. You didn't move the caskets.
Yeah.
I think it was because the movie doesn't explain anything, and I love it for it. We never get a scene where a character goes, each of these TVs records different levels of EMF, EMP technology. Nobody ever explains anything. And I think the movie is so much better for it.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think it's like a Lovecraftian entity fueled by the enmity of the sin of forsaking these corpses.
Mm.
But it is an evil entity unrelated to the corpses.
I always thought too, though, that the preacher was evil.
Oh, do you think the short person who?
No. There's the preacher. It's been a while since I've seen it, but there's like one of the bodies is like a preacher. So he was like the leader.
You think he's a part of the evil?
Yeah, for sure.
See, also a thing that I picked up on is they keep on telling the main character he's the best salesperson for this company. So I think he's also being targeted by the enmity of these evil spirits, or these tortured spirits being led by an evil thing. Because the psychic woman says there is an evil thing leading tortured spirits.
Mm.
I think the evil thing is explicitly from the text of the movie from outer space. Because one of the characters says it's either from outer space or inner space, which means it could also be like a ninth dimensional entity that exists so far away from us, but also exists, right? Classic Lovecraft stuff, right? Yeah. I think that the evil being is explicitly like a Lovecraftian entity that is manipulating the will of these other beings that are forsaken by their graves being forsaken.
So that's the great thing about the movie, is that it doesn't really tell you what it is.
It doesn't tell you at all. So yeah, everything I'm saying is just my theory. Someone else could watch and be like, oh, no, I think it's this, this, and this. Because the movie never stops, turns and looks at you and says, anyway, here's the lore for this section. Don't forget to make a 9-hour YouTube video about it. Recently, I like learning about like cool little stories about stuff, but I don't know, the ecosystem of like lore tube has gotten so boring and flat to me that all I've been doing now is like, it says they're like, we're going to talk about this book for an hour. No, I'm just going to read that book. That book sounds interesting. I'm just going to go read it. I don't need to hear you talk about it. Like 2 books I got to read recently. You ever read Junji Ito's The Long Dream?
Yeah.
It's about a guy whose dreams keep feeling longer and longer.
Mm-hmm.
At first, they last like a day. Eventually, they're lasting years, where every time he wakes up, it's like he hasn't been in our world for 20 years. Until eventually his dreams are lasting millions of years. And he kind of like, you can go through the plot thing from there. And then the other one, you ever read Isaac Asimov's The Last Answer?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Basically, a scientist dies, sees his body. Like a real scientist, he gets new data and he goes, I guess heaven's real. I didn't expect that. That's pretty interesting. Anyway, looks like I'm in the afterlife as like things begin to change around him. And then he meets a being who he perceives to be God. And he says to the being, are you God? The being's like, why do all of you ask me that? And then he's like, what are you? He says, that doesn't really matter to you. I don't even think you can conceptualize it. And he's like, okay, why am I here? He's like, because you're a great thinker. You were a great thinker on your planet. And I'd like you to think for me. And he's like, what? He says, yeah. See, I am all-knowing, eternal. I've always been and always will be. But that creates a paradox in my omniscience. If I always have been, then I can have no knowledge of my beginning. I want you to think what my beginning was. And the guy's like, what? That sounds impossible. And the being's like, oh, you'll have forever to do it. And he's like, I don't want to do that. And the being says, why? You thought your whole life you did it as a profession. You were a scientist. This is just me asking you to think more. And he's like, yeah, but like, I would get praised, and like, people would, tell me I did a great job or pay me, and I would be able to purchase things, or, and the being's like, I could praise you if that's what's required. And he's like, yeah, but it also didn't last forever. And the being goes, I can see how that would be a problem for you. Regardless, it's what you will do. He's like, I'm not going to do that. The being's like, all you got is the ability to think and time. So you will think eventually. And eventually you will think the things I want you to think over a long enough period of time. And he's like, I'll think of how to kill myself then. And the being says, okay, that'll be interesting, but I'll just spin you back up again. And you'll pick up where you left off. And I'll plug that way to kill yourself.
It sounds a little bit like the Good Place.
Yeah, it's kind of like The Good Place, actually, but it came out in like 1949. And then he goes, all right, fine. I'm going to find a way to kill you. And Being's like, I cannot be killed. I am eternal. And he's like, no, if there is a paradox of your beginning being occluded to you, then your end would also thereby be occluded to you. So I will think on that end. And the being said, this would also be interesting, and disappeared. And the man decided to take his time. After all, he had a lot. It's a great little ending. Like I love that the moment the being goes away, he doesn't get right away to thinking about it. He says, you know what? I can take a break here, think about something else for a while. Great little story. Loved it. It was like 2 pages long, and yes, it contains the entirety of the message of The Good Place. Great show, by the way. If anyone hasn't watched The Good Place, I'm about to spoil my favorite joke in it. My favorite joke in that whole show, Rich, is when they're doing the montage of Eleanor discovering it's the bad place.
Yeah.
But on like the 193rd cycle, Jason discovers it's the bad place instead. Jason, if you guys haven't watched the show, is the dumbest character on the show. And it's great because Ted Danson just has this line where he goes, oh, Jason figured it out this time? Oh, that's a real low. That's a low point for my career. This hurts. This hurts really bad. And he like just resets it. I love it. It's a great bit.
Yeah, it was one of them ones I tried to start, and I was like, oh, all right, I like the people in it, I'll give it a try. And then like season 1 was good, but then it just got better with each season.
Oh yeah, it's if anyone hasn't watched the show, it is really fun, and every season is very different. So you're never going to get into a state where you're like, oh, they're just doing the same thing over and over again. And I don't know about you, Rich, but I really like the ending.
Yep, I thought it was perfect.
Yep, I thought it was a great ending.
Just watched Blackbird on Apple. Really good.
I was just about to watch and recommend an Apple show to you.
Oh yeah,
I started it. It's called Widow's Bed.
Oh God, that's great. I watched all of it.
I figured if you started it, you'd already be finished it.
It reminds me a lot though of Castle Rock.
A little more comedy, but yeah, I see it.
It's basically a conglomeration of all the Stephen King novels put into one.
Yeah, being run by a plucky Leslie Knope type character.
Yep, exactly.
He's trying to make it all work. He's trying to Jaws mayor this.
I love his assistant. She's great.
My favorite line in the show.
Based off of Audrey, what's the name? Leslie Knope's assistant.
Sure. My favorite line from his secretary is, "Do you know what the trolley problem is? You're talking about when we tried to build a trolley in town and all the workers mysteriously vanished underground." He's like, "No, that's not the trolley problem." Just a great gag, like so dumb. I love that Fuchs from Barry is in the show.
Yep,
he's great.
Um, but Blackbird is about a serial killer. It's based on a true story.
Okay.
The character. Have you watched the? Gosh, I wish I knew his name. Have you watched Cobra Kai?
Season 1.
Okay, remember? I don't know if he was in season 1. The kind of weirdo guy with the braided hair, like has a little single braid in the back, that joins Cobra Kai.
Maybe. It's been a
Well, anyway, he plays the serial killer in it, and man, does he pull it off? And he obviously went and did research on the serial killer who was in jail, sitting and still alive. But it's really well done. I really enjoyed it. It's got some really good actors and actresses, and it's again based on a real story, which makes it even more interesting. So
It's cool, man. Can I tell you a real story?
what's that?
I can't reveal any of the details, especially not online.
Uh-huh.
But I have a coworker, and I'm just going to keep it at that,
Uh-huh.
who they were in a distant country. You'll know why I'm being so vague.
Uh-huh.
Old country, a country where there's been not 2,000 years of occupation by various civilizations, but probably going back 200,000 years. We just don't have any record of it.
Okay.
It used to be a fort. He was asked to dig a well by his grandfather. He's in the backyard digging a well. He falls through the ground. He finds himself in a man-made stone tunnel leading under the lake and under the fortress. Those are the two directions it goes. Now, this is the difference between Lovecraft protagonists and this person. This person's grandfather says, hey, if anyone finds this, we'll lose the land because it'll turn into an archaeological site. Cover it up and let's never speak of it again. Me, I'm going in the tunnel.
Yeah.
I was talking about it with a friend that they were like, well versed in Lovecraft too. And they're like, I don't think I can handle it, bro, if we find a cage filled with like human bones. Like that's where the edge of my sanity rests.
Yeah, but remember, your brother ruined it all for us because none of them books exist. Which means none of those tunnels lead anywhere more interesting than maybe a place where they shit.
Drew provided me the answer actually already. He was like, given its location, probably a place to bury their dead that wouldn't be desecrated by Roman soldiers.
See, it's nothing interesting. Nothing interesting as Lovecraft could think of.
Oh, it's kind of like, too, I get why some people become flat earthers, because the view of the world is so fantastical and whimsical. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a strange and wild place. But the reality of real life is so much stranger than fish people from space. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you saw the most recent James Webb telescope things. We were able to get a good look at a black hole, Rich.
Yeah.
No event horizon.
No event horizon.
Yeah.
Was there a giant red robot floating around in it?
There was no giant red robot. Last night I went down a rabbit hole, by the way, of watching like Lovecraftian horror shorts.
Uh-huh.
I think the increase in technological availability to create spectacle, Rich, has ruined a lot of HBO.
I have said that for years and years and years. I remember the magic that was the 2009 or 2008 Lovecraft Film Festival that I went to, where there was never a creature on screen, but you knew the creature was there. But because they knew the technology couldn't do it, they didn't try unless it was like a comedy where they would have, claymation or something.
Sure, something goofy and funny. Well, it's kind of like
Now the silly tentacle stuff happens even when it's not a silly movie.
And to me, it still looks bad.
Yeah. No, it
Still
never.
look bad. They never nailed it. They might think they have, but they did it. They didn't nail any of it. It still looks bad.
Terrestrial. The
Yeah.
unknown being unseen is more terrifying, and I think Lovecraft probably has a quote around that.
Yeah. I know that Stephen King does in Danse Macabre. He says that which is behind the door is always scarier than when the door is open.
Yep.
To me, one of my favorite visual, you got to show something, in my opinion. You got to try at least and do a good job. My favorite is, do you remember, this would have been, I don't know, 2012 Lovecraft Film Festival? We saw a feature film that wasn't made at the festival and had nothing to do with it. It was called Absentia.
Not sure.
Guy goes missing, vanishes on his morning jog, and he's gone for 7 years, so his wife is able to file death in absentia. But then he just shows back up, and he claims that a troll took him and made him work like a slave for the past 7 years in the troll's fairy dimension. Great. I'm sure you've seen it, but there is one moment where we see the troll, but you see it in the corner of the room, and it looks like a gigantic centipede that you're only seeing a corner of for a quarter of a second, and then it disappears.
Yeah, that's a good monster effect.
And this was an older movie, so they didn't have a big CGI budget that they thought would look good and doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the shows that know to not show the monster are the ones that are better.
It's one of those things where it's like, you ever see Prince of Darkness?
Watched it at the Lovecraft Film Festival.
What's that?
They played it at the Lovecraft Film Festival.
Oh, I'm sure they have. It's great for it.
Yeah.
But like, that movie never shows the being.
No.
We only see the being existing backwards through the tube. But it also, at the same time, if you're a canny observer, you know that the being's not a god. It might as well be to us, but it's just an alien criminal from an alien planet. You know, it might be their Zodiac killer that they just sent to another planet because it was easier, because maybe they're being so advanced that killing one of them is nearly impossible. You know what I mean? And if you pay attention, the whole movie, the friendly aliens are trying to tell the main characters what to do, but it keeps getting cut off at the end. It's a great thing. Great movie. Oh, so good. All three of these movies are great. The Thing, Mouth of Madness, Prince of Darkness.
Yep.
I'm going to flip it over to yeah, been watching Foundation, Rich?
Yeah.
You ever watch it?
No, I tried. I started it. I'm not a sci-fi person is my biggest problem.
That's the craziest thing you've ever said to me in my entire life.
What's that?
You're not a sci-fi person?
No.
I want everyone to just Google Rich, owner of a comic book store for 20 years.
Look at what I'm painting. I like painting.
I know, but I've also seen you paint like... All right, Rich, have you or have you not painted at least 10,000 points of Warhammer 40K?
Of course.
Okay, I just wanted to know that. Most people who don't like sci-fi haven't painted that much Warhammer 40K.
Warhammer 40K is not sci-fi.
Yeah, that is true. I consider it more maybe like science fantasy if we wanted to create a genre.
It's like Star Wars. Star Wars isn't sci-fi.
No. Star Wars is about a goodly farmer peasant boy becoming a knight and then challenging the Dark Wizard and his Black Knight.
Yeah.
Like, that's, anyone who tells me any difference, it's like, listen, go talk to George Lucas. Don't talk to me. He would agree with me. He also says it's about, Vietnam War, which is also pretty obvious.
So my Wrath and Glory campaign, speaking of sci-fi.
Oh yeah, speaking of the sci-fi, hey Dusty,
Hey, how's it going?
What's up,
are you
Dusty?
Ravener?
I don't actually know yet because I'm on the last one and the paint list to make the Typhon scheme is on the tablet that I just discovered is dead. I might be painting Custodes.
Oh damn, I'll be wrong for the first time. It says,
In months.
it says Dusty Paint Bug. It's all it says in the title. We are Dusty. Have you ever watched Foundation?
I have not. Is it good?
I freaking love it, but it is sci-fi. Like sci-fi. I mean, it's a little science fantasy rich. I will admit. I mean,
Yeah,
the technology.
it's like Dune. I mean, and again, if I had nothing else to watch, like Silo just came back on, so
Don't
I
tell me
would.
what happened. Don't talk about Silo. I don't want to know yet. I love Silo. That's just so fucking good.
I haven't seen the new one yet, but I met the author. He actually bought some games from me at PAX Unplugged last year.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, he's a big nerd. He bought some of the escape room games we sell.
Oh, that's awesome. It's really cool. Dusty, how was your week, man?
Busy, and great.
You work for a stamp company, right?
I do. Yes. We're just stamping away.
Your stamps are only, people say stamps are the third wave.
I mean, I believe it.
I am painting up some Drukari. Rich is painting up some Giants. Dusty's working on some Custodes. Oh, speaking of Custodes, I built my first 11th edition list.
And what's it got on it?
Inquisitor Draxus.
Nice. Is that the whole list?
27 Custodes with shields and swords. 3 Godhammer pattern venerable land raiders.
Where are the 9 jet bikes?
I don't have them because I don't believe in that. I think if the Emperor wanted us to have jet bikes, we'd be playing horse heresy. I hear they're very good, but they're getting a new kit. I'm not buying the old kit.
The new kit, I think, is, I mean, you could proxy it just fine, but I think it's technically a different bike.
I don't care. It looks better, personally, you know.
It looks like the old, it looks like the Horus Heresy, like the grav tanks and stuff.
The old kit's a little tubby, I guess I would say. It doesn't look good with the new proportions Custodes, which I don't care about. Actually, if I do jet bikes, they'll be Thunder Warrior jet bikes. So I'll probably build them out of the Goliath kit. I'll do anything.
That video that Louisa that I sent you.
Is it meaning the Thunder Warrior to the insane degree?
Yeah, she did a good job, huh?
Frick. That's a level of NMM that's like, I don't know, you're doing math equations.
She used to be a painter for GW, so
Yeah, I heard. I bet you GW painters don't get treated particularly well because I've never seen one last more than like
yeah.
10 minutes.
The one dude with the beard now, he's been there for a while. But I don't think he has much of a personality, so I think he's just stuck there. Like I don't know if you remember back when we used to have the store, John Wolfe worked for GW for longer than any other person that I know in existence. And it was mostly because he just had no drive or incentive to do anything else. And that's what this guy reminds me of. Like he's a good painter, but he just seems like somebody who just is okay with just sitting there teaching people to paint and talking about hair dryers a lot more than he should be.
I made you the main camera, Rich.
All right.
Looked like you were doing something pretty exciting, so I wanted to catch it.
Oh, yeah. I'm doing base coats on non-metallic metals.
Ooh, base coats on non-metallic metals.
Slating.
I am doing my first pass of the mini where I paint everything with speed paints, only so that I can go back later and repaint every single aspect that I initially went over with speed paints with standard acrylics. I don't know why it helps me, Rich.
Me, I'm gonna try. I want to do this like green verdigris metal on his shield. That's one of my goals tonight.
Shoot.
I set myself my next big project.
Oh yeah.
Project. Let's hear it.
So the Grand Cathay has Miao Ying and the Storm Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 3D scanning a bunch of metal busts for our next game's Jewelry Box Edition. And that involves a whole lot of like sitting for 3 to 4 minutes waiting for scans to render and everything, which doesn't really lend itself to doing stuff in between. And so naturally, I found myself on Warhammer.com, just sort of looking around. And
Sure.
I found that, and I had never looked at that model before, and it's just freaking beautiful. Like, so that's it. That's my next big project.
The Grand Army of Cathay is just an incredible launch, in my opinion.
The whole army. Oh yeah, that's not the only thing I bought.
I plan on doing Old World, and it's with Grand Army of Cathay. But I am giving GW one more year before I start it, because what I really want to do is an Araby army. My favorite fantasy setting is Swords and Sandals. I love like something set in like fantasy Constantinople kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
You know, love it.
The
So
they
an
have that
Araby army would be so cool.
that new core set for Old World came out last weekend, and it also had Warriors of Chaos in it, and those guys are darn cool too. Like,
Look really good, Rich. You see them?
Yep, I did.
I have such a that's my nostalgia right there. Even when I wasn't allowed to play Warhammer, I would go to there was this game store in Chico that I used to buy BattleTech stuff from, and I would go and they had a bunch of fantasy dioramas set up, and I would just sit there and stare at all the Warhammer fantasy and just dream about my parents letting me buy it.
So today, Dusty, I almost got to the Frank Frazetta Museum.
How come almost?
Well, because a tornado came through the night before and downed like 20 trees that were on the road to the museum. And I could see it, but there was no power. I did get to talk to Frank Frazetta's daughter-in-law. And she said, I told her, well, we'll just come back. But yeah, so they had no power. She was going to let us in if they had power, but they didn't have any power. So,
well, I mean, that's what flashlights are for, right?
Yeah, right. But
Lighting.
Frank Frazetta, right?
Do I know Frank Frazetta? Yeah.
His art. I mean, speaking of chaos, I in my theory, chaos as an army wouldn't exist if it wasn't for him.
Even the look of the Chaos Lord, you said, is very his oeuvre, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, Death Dealer was probably the most iconic model, that was made. Raul Partha made it. GW has done multiple homages to it.
Don't worry, everybody. I'm going to pull the picture up. I have now seen the picture. I want everyone to know that you have seen this picture. I'm about to share the screen.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need to, though, because now that I've seen it, you have seen this picture. But I will show it to everybody so that
Let's look at it again. It's so pretty.
Death Dealer, go.
Yeah.
There's the one Nurgle model that's based on that model.
Yep.
And if you want to know what Rich is talking about, to that, let me go away from Amazon and go to Warhammer. Okay. And let's go to Age of Sigmar, Chaos, Nurgle. Where is it? It's the best model in this range. Should be.
I mean, that's almost enough to make me want to paint Nurgles, but nah.
Boom! Here it is.
Yeah, it's
just the weapon is different, the shield is different, and the horse is a plague.
I'm sure if Frank, people talk about John Blanche being the origin of 40K, but Frazetta is really, even though he had no connection to GW, he is the origin of Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah,
at least Chaos, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's because that didn't exist, as I understand it, in 80s 40K. And apparently, Jess Goodwin, I think, didn't even want Chaos to port over because he already felt like 40K was too much of just fantasy and space. But I'm actually really glad 40K got Chaos. I think it makes the franchise really cool in a way. You know?
Yeah.
I have not met a single person who discovered Warhammer and did not immediately decide it was one of the most awesome things I've ever experienced.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. There's a weirdness among the Warhammer community right now. I've noticed it multiple times where people will derisively refer to anything that depicts the Imperium as a bad place to live as grim derp. And they claim the Imperium is actually a great place to live and the best case scenario for humanity.
These are the same people who think the Federation, the good guys, right?
Sure, yeah. The people who claim that you have to follow exactly what they do. You have to follow their arbitrary religion called the Prime Directive.
Whose all upper leadership is always human.
Yeah.
I believe in in all the races being equal, but some races are less equal.
More equal than others.
It's really like a greater, it's like a less than or equal to. There is an equal sign in there somewhere.
By the way, very fun. Go to this work trip, and one of my coworkers turns out they're just a huge sci-fi nerd. And then it turns out the clients we were hanging out with, all huge sci-fi nerds too. So we just all devolved into a conversation about various things.
Great.
Rich, I've made you the main camera.
Okay.
Yeah, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sponge a bunch of stuff on these guys and then paint the details really specifically. I think it's going to turn out really cool. I have this idea of a Dark Eldar army that is more reminiscent of like just before the fall Imperial Eldar army. Little bit less spiky, no spirit stones of any kind. Clearly in some ways, but I think it'll be fun. I'm working on it. And do some sponging. I think it'll help me out with getting some cool value into the Eldar armor. Bought these sponges. You guys use these yet? Little egg sponges?
Not yet.
They work really well. They're great.
A ton of them, so whenever I need one.
Yeah, they're really useful actually.
I've seen makeup artists put them on brides and bridesmaids at least 386 times.
Oh, right, because you're an expert at photography, which any long-term viewers of the show would already know, given how great your minis always look when photographed.
And how great my backgrounds look. And
Yeah, he's
really... Your camera work belies a grand narrative of skill and expertise.
I mean, the key is once you know the rules, you know how to break the rules.
You know how to break. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Anything that you think is an inefficiency with Dusty's setup, well, wait 10 years and ask.
It's actually just more of like a lifestyle choice.
Yeah, that's really. I am going to get some white sponged onto these. Going back and trying to get a complete set of the original Pokemon set. A frustrating experience because it's like
Cards, you mean?
Yeah, the cards. Yeah.
This is not the time to do that.
Well, what's funny is nobody gives a shit about the base set right now. They're so cheap.
It's all the new sets. The prices of the new sets are just out of
control. But nobody really cares about the old sets. That's all I want. I just want a complete set of the old set.
And to be clear, I pay my children in Pokemon cards, so the inflation has been felt in this household.
That's rough. That is rough. The Pokemon inflation is insane right now. I would have
It does not keep pace with standard inflation. That's for sure.
Well, it's kind of funny. I remember, parents, authority figures my whole life telling me the value of certain things, and that the things that they buy, of course, will hold value. And the things that I buy, foolish and will hold no value.
Well, the joke's on them.
If all my parents had ever done, instead of buying their silly little stocks, if all they had ever done is every time they bought me a video game, they bought 10 copies and put them in a vault.
You never need to work a day in your life.
Or just bought
Especially
you
if they graded. What's that, Rich?
or just bought you Land Raiders.
Or just bought me Land Raiders. or GW stock in general.
What's the thing that's at the bottom of the ocean? They found that, right? They got that worked out.
The wave serpents. Or
Wave serpents? No, they're still there.
No, but didn't they make more of them, or did they just give up on that?
Yeah, they made more, but now they're discontinued, I think, right?
No, they're still making them. Still the current kit for the main transport for one of the most popular armies in the game. Came out when I was in high school. I'm almost 40.
I got to play one of the missions from the Terror on Devlin today.
Okay.
Instead of doing what's that?
How was it?
Oh, it was good. Instead of doing it like in the book, they're like, yeah, and you guys can all split your kill team and play together co-op against the thing. Instead, we did it more like D&D style, where I just like flat out like didn't give any information about what was coming or why or what was happening, and just let them figure it out. Oh, that was entertaining.
Yeah, that's great. What happened?
Yeah. So I mean, we skipped the first mission because it was just like the kill some Termagants, like boring, nobody cares. They all want to fight the Red Terror, right? So in the second mission, it's like when they discover this thing is there, except the way the deck works for the NPOs is you have to you draw a card. Well, for the first to like tell what's going to activate this turn. Well, for the first turning point, none of the Red Terror's cards are in the deck, and so nothing happens. And then the second turning point comes around, and all I told him was, somewhere far away and potentially muffled by the ground, you hear an ominous rumble, and they're like, no, what is this? And I'm like, well, you're gonna find out. and then I knew the cards were in the deck, and they had to like close a bunch of breach holes. And so the thing could have popped out at any of those holes. And so I'm like just watching, and they keep getting closer to like every single hole, and they close it. And I'm like having a blast just drawing the cards to see if the Red Terror is going to pop. And it finally did. On top of they were playing Space Marines on top of the captain. And the captain decides he's going to power fist the thing, and ended up getting swallowed whole. I mean, they won, but I was highly entertained. It was very cinematic.
The Space Marine died at Hero's death.
I mean, yeah, I was like, it really gives you some perspective there when you think about the fact that this was a 9-foot tall man in power armor that just got swallowed whole. Like,
as they do.
Yeah, it's a big universe, a lot of threats out there.
Hey, oh, yes, I know my question of the week. I want to start reading 40K books. Where do I start?
Xenos.
Okay.
Xenos, Eisenhorn trilogy.
Oh, that's the one I did. You know what? I bought that because I thought that might be the answer. Okay.
And then you can stop.
What's that?
And then you're done.
Oh, it's not after that. It's not good.
In my opinion, 40K reading material outside of the codexes is very hit or miss.
Dan Abnett's pretty consistent. Like,
Dan Abnett's great. If it's written by Dan Abnett, you're fine.
I mean, I don't know if you know this, Rob, but Eisenhorn is still going on.
Oh, I know.
The Pariah series is.
Yeah, right.
Have you read that?
I've read the first one with Beckwin. I haven't read the rest.
Okay, because
anything I say doesn't apply to Dan Abnett. Okay.
I mean, he wrote like a quarter of the books, right?
I thought he wrote nearly all of them.
He's got a really good fantasy series set in Middenheim too.
Oh, what's that?
I think it's just called Middenheim. or it's but it's set in the old world, Middenheim. It's very good.
What's this one that's based on that TV show with the guy who dies in Lord of the Rings? About riflemen and the British Army.
Sharps.
Sharps. Isn't it one of his books about that?
I think
Isn't the people from the forest world with the tattoos on their face? Tanith. No, not Tanith. Come out, Rich.
Tanith Irregulars. That's not him though.
Something First and Only.
First and Only. Yeah, that's him.
That's Dan Abnett, right?
Yeah. That's the Tanith ghost.
Yeah. They're like Sharps rifles, right?
Yep. I really like the Caiaphas Cain stuff too.
He's the down on his luck commissar that everything always goes his way in the end.
Mr. Magoo.
Kind of like Mr. Magoo's his way through the 41st millennium.
Completely a coward, but in the end, his cowardness ends up winning the day because he does something that he shouldn't have done, but it actually is the right thing to do. And he's got the Inquisitor, and he's got his like loyal manservant who's with him all the time. They models for him, actually.
That's great. You guys play the
I don't like sci-fi.
RPG?
What's that?
The Rogue Trader RPG. Y'all play that?
No, I have it. I think somewhere.
I hear it's good.
Yeah.
I was too far away. Play what?
Kingmaker.
Rogue Trader RPG?
I have it. Yeah, I'm about an hour and a half into it. I like it. I think it was clearly made by people who love Warhammer, which I would think would be the baseline for many games, and it is not.
Most things, Dustin, I'm going to make this easy. I'm going to make life easier for you. Most things are fueled by craven, desperate lust for lucre. Filthy lucre.
Correct.
That's my tip about the world. Just something I've noticed.
I think that's been pretty consistent throughout.
Yeah, that hasn't changed my whole life. It has not changed. If I see some great horrific tragedy and I go, what caused this great horrific tragedy? Was it some wanton lust for infinite greed? It was? I was surprised.
Isn't that every good horror story?
I mean, it's the horror story of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
Well, Kathleen Kennedy's horror story, you mean? The one she's going through. Where she's like, but it's Star Wars! I saw the Backrooms movie. You guys see the Backrooms movie?
I haven't seen it, but I heard it was very well done. Like, people really liked it.
It's really good. But it made me think of a concept. I'm going to make a horror movie where a character's like, I have no emotional trauma. Nothing bad has ever personally happened to me. Thus, when I see this Gagu in this hole, I'm going to be like, whoa, this isn't a manifestation of my grief or guilt. This is a Gagu from the planet Zorbax. That's the movie I'm going to make.
And it's a horror movie?
Yeah, because every horror movie, I know it's like the genre, but every horror movie basically boils down to a manifestation of my traumas in that scary place. Top review for people who haven't seen the movie that I saw was, I knew it. I knew there was a drunk divorced pirate in those back rooms. Great show. Great movie. And then you go back and you watch this kid's stuff he made when he was 14, it makes you want to strangle him. It's like, you're just talented your whole life. Must be nice. Because you go back, watch the stuff he made when he was 13. I'm like, oh, this is better directed than that Obi-Wan show.
Oh my God, don't get me started on the laser gate. He shoots the laser gate and it pans out to the wide shot.
It's almost like a comedy gag. It's like a comedy gag.
Or Darth Vader, like, well, there's a solid 20 feet of flame side to side here. I guess you got me. I'm just going to stand here with my infinite force powers and stare at you in total defeat.
And that's why I like whenever Rick does this riff because it'll be like in the newest season, Rick and Morty, a character uses a move on Rick, very similar to Vader ripping that starship apart. And Rick says to the guy, "What? You got one more of these? Probably two more? You have no more than 3 of that you can do at a time, right?" Because when Darth Vader destroys the first ship and then the second ship leaves, seems like Darth Vader doesn't want to destroy the second ship because that would be a double beat and bad for viewer retention. That's the only reason I can think of he doesn't destroy the second ship.
The thing is, okay,
Power, Robbie.
He ran out of mana, you think?
Yeah. Force has power. I mean, if you played any of the RPGs, you know that.
It's true. His midichlorians could have been completely reduced. I always think
the midichlorians retired.
I've got people I think are really lazy. They'll always be like, "Why were they so slow at fighting in the old movies? It's so much cooler when they flip around each other for no reason and attack at swords in mid-swing like they're trying to attack the sword rather than the person."
You have to appease the Force, Robbie.
Well, what I think it is,
Force requires
most Force users are engaged in a implicit ever battle in which they are constantly using the Force to turn off the other person's lightsaber. And thus, it's an intense internal battle occurring between them. And that's why the lightsabers are so heavy.
Holy mother of God, Robbie, I think you just blew my mind.
That's why they fight like that in the New Hope.
I never once thought about them just using the Force to turn off the other lightsaber.
What about this? You're swinging your sword where you're going to parry each other in the middle because for some reason you guys are attacking each other's swords. And then the other person turns off their lightsaber and then before the arc completes, turns it back on. So for a moment, the blades are flying towards each other. One gets slightly shorter, like a half-opening garage door, and then gets longer again, completing the arc, killing the person. Come on. So, obviously, to stop that, both Force users are intently engaged in a, intermind chess game. And that explains why Obi-Wan and Vader are so slow.
The point at which there was lightsaber fighting that is actually what killed it for me. Say what you will about how goofy the differences in the lightsabers were. Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, like you watch them like practicing the choreographs and stuff, like they were putting in actual physical effort into doing that, right?
Oh, in service of nothing, though. The sword fighting looks so lame.
Well, it does, but you got to at least appreciate the level of effort that
I don't have to appreciate anything.
I do.
I'm an American citizen.
Hey, Rich, weren't you painting those like 2 weeks ago? Like, what's going on over there? And you turning it into me?
I think I might have just fried my computer.
So in Ahsoka, it wasn't the weird MacGuffins, it wasn't the space whales, it wasn't that we had waited 15 years to see Ezra again and got hey. It wasn't him walking off the ship in stormtrooper armor and for some reason all Hera and all the rebels stood around just waiting for him to shoot them because they didn't know who he was. It wasn't the fact that he flew up to the ship and didn't just calm them and say, "Hey guys, it's me." It wasn't the fact that Hera went off on her own, rogue, got a whole bunch of pilots killed, went back and lied under oath to the Senate, and then got off with nothing with a wink and a nod after killing all these people with Princess Leia, making them all complicit in some Imperial style, absolute just throwing away people. It was the point at which Rosario Dawson was first fighting with Anakin, and you could watch him trying to slow down so that because she didn't bother training at all. And then she freaking goes and fights Diana Lee Santo, who is actually really good at that kind of stuff. And you could watch her being all right, now I'm going to swing at you. Okay, you ready? Here it comes. That was what finally killed it for me, where I was like, God, these people aren't even trying anymore, are they?
Well, I mean, it's Star Wars, Dusty. It's the most craven, capitalistic slop there is.
But there's trying and then there's not trying. Okay?
AI movie we get. That's released in theaters.
As wide-eyed and diehard as I am, if you can finally beat that, and I mean, I have 137 shelves in a room with Star Wars toys on them, and that's only a quarter of my collection. And if you can If you can beat me into the ground, you have achieved a thing.
It just, I don't know what it was like in the 80s. I don't know what Star Wars was like when it first came out. But to me, it is throughout my entire life, it has represented what else do we got? Let's crap out a Star Wars.
Yeah. It's the heart. It's the intention.
Sure. I don't see any value in any Star Wars beyond A New Hope before they edited it. I think if you've only seen the New Hope, it's not even worth watching.
I have the originals, the original VHS like trilogy from like 1986, I think it was.
A New Hope. I like Empire. I like Jodorowsky's Clone Wars.
Those are good.
And I like Andor. Those are the things.
Jodorowsky, you see he's doing Conan?
I did. Did you watch Primal, Rich?
Yes.
That shows he can do it to me.
Have you watched Fire and Ice, Rob, by the way?
No.
Okay. It's on YouTube. It's Frank Frazetta's Fire and Ice. And what's the name? The guy who did I'm trying to think who his name. Gosh. He's a famous animator. He did Fritz the Cat.
That's very famous.
And he did the Lord of the Rings.
Bakshi.
Ralph Bakshi and Frank Frazetta produced a movie called Fire and Ice.
Rich, say no more, because I'm going to say something that's heretical. You ready? I prefer the Bakshi Lord of the Rings to the 2000s movies.
Yeah.
Are you trying to get us demonetized? What's going on here?
I'm creating.
Is that your? Are we doing shock jock now?
Yeah, I'm a shock jock. One of you needs to get an animal nickname so that we could be like, say, Rich is the one with the animal nickname. Would be Rob, Dusty, and the Clam. One of us just needs. I
want to be.
I don't know who of us has the animal nickname in them, but one of us needs to be known only by an animal nickname.
I still love the Jackson stuff. I was watching a thing on where you can take a tour of the Shire, and I realized one thing: I can't go to New Zealand
because you'd never leave.
I would never leave the Shire. I'd be the guy dressed up in the gray robes, running around with a hat, like, "Hey, you want a picture?"
You got to get a work visa to stay there. Those New Zealanders will kick you out fast.
Yeah, good luck kicking out a wizard.
They'll kick you out Rich the Gray, and you'll come back Rich the White.
That's right. And I'll just work around there. There's plenty. I was watching this video, and there's plenty of places to hide that they'll never find me.
That's what Tolkien says the hobbits are doing to this day, Rich.
Yeah.
He answered in a letter one time where someone said, "What happened to the hobbit?" He's like, "Oh, they didn't go anywhere. It's just we don't notice them as much as we used to."
It's like the Fae.
Yep. It's like they're still around, doing the same things they've always have.
Yeah, it's that set is so amazing.
Well, and let me be clear. I really like the first two movies. I have to rewatch the third movie. I remember not liking it. But that would have been when it came out. Was the last time I saw it. I just remember it being all too quick of a resolution when the eagles and the ghosts show up at the end of the third movie. I remember thinking it was just too like, all right, we got to wrap this up. You know,
story.
You're so jaded.
Oh, yeah.
That's the actual story, Robbie.
Well, they should have changed it for me.
I would have liked to see the Scouring of the Shire.
Have you? Hey, speaking of not that, but tangentially sort of related. Have you guys read The Wheel of Time?
No.
I read the first book and watched the first 2 seasons.
I am partway through the second book, and I'm starting to wonder at how many years it's going to take me to get through all 14 because they go on.
Yeah, I can't say you know what it reminds me of? Too much of Sword of Shannara.
I
And
have
Sword
not
of
read
Shannara was
that.
great when I was a kid. And then I realized, oh shit, he just took Lord of the Rings and added it to a sci-fi setting. Because
Uh,
that's all Wheel of Time is. Wheel of Time's a sci-fi story, not a fantasy story.
Correct. Yes. I cannot find my Mechanicus standard gray.
Well, then use the non-standard gray.
Yeah, I guess I will just settle for Duncan's Dungeon Stone gray. I don't know.
The Empire, the Imperium will accuse you of heresy because it's not standard, but
Its Mechanicus non-standard.
the heretical gray used by the tech heresy.
Is it Dark Mechanicus standard gray?
That's right. Dark Mechanic is standard gray.
I'm
Let's
looking
watch
at
Duncan Rhodes was one of his more recent videos. He only used GW paints. I'm like, what the hell?
Are you sure it wasn't like an old video? Because was it
No.
the one?
One of the new orcs from the new Armageddon set.
Oh, interesting. I wonder why he did that, because you can actually see across his videos like when each wave of the two thin coats comes out, because he starts using those paints.
Yeah, I had to talk to Bob. He's the publisher, a friend of mine. He see what his thoughts are on that.
I did buy a bunch of Duncan's paints on the GameFound campaign.
Oh yeah.
Recently.
all right, Rich, say you can use non-standard gray real quick because I looked it up and now I'm ready to go. I wasn't ready.
Standard gray. You can use non-standard gray, right?
Yep. All right. There is a classic Simpsons gag where it's Troy McClure, and he's you might remember me from some such instructional videos as dig your own grave and save, and mothballing your battleship. Now, over the next 6 hours, I'll be taking you through the do's and don'ts of foundation repairs. First, patch the cracks in the slab using a latex patching compound and patching trowel. Now, do you have an extruded polyvinyl foam insulation? Assemble the aluminum J channel using the self-scurrying screws, and it just keeps going on like this, where it eventually gets to the point where he's like, use your carbon fiber lathe. If you do not have one, a regular lathe is fine. It's just, that's all I was thinking about when you said use the standard. Troy McClure, stabbed to death by his wife. Great man, rest in God. It really happened.
You know, The Simpsons is still coming.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure the heat death of the universe will occur. It's almost embarrassing to tell people my favorite show ever made is The Simpsons, because I'm sure young people look at me and go, "Oh, this guy's brain dead. This dude's cooked. This is the dumbest guy I've ever met in my entire life. He likes The Simpsons."
What are they gonna? I mean, it's like all the cast members are getting up there.
Hi, cast members, don't worry.
It's like the lady that plays Naruto. That's or Luffy. That's a long-term gig.
Oh yeah, that's she signed up for life. She's young.
She was young.
That's true. At the beginning of one. But yeah, I'm just patching this up here for anyone who can't see what I did here. Basically, I did this kind of like white color, but I wanted the armor to kind of have like maybe some interest to it. So after doing the what is it called, the sponging, I went over with a red wash so that the speckled areas would be filtered red. I don't know. I think it looks cool. Just want to see what it looks like here. Simple effect that you can repeat over your army. I don't know, maybe it looks like the bone like absorbs blood to function. It's very like
That's
Dark
cool.
Eldar, right? I think Dark Eldar is super cool. My favorite aspect of Dark Eldar, if no one's a fan, I'm going to switch it back to you, Rich, is that Dark Eldar are not the deviants. They are not the ones who became different than the Eldar have been for 65 million years. The Dark Eldar are the closest thing to a record of the original Eldar that we have. And the Craft World Eldar are more like the weirdos. Craft World Eldar are basically like space on the shelf.
Hey, did we talk about Exodites yet? I don't think we've seen each other since Exodites.
Oh shit!
For
I
people
saw
who
that.
haven't seen the Exodites, hold on one moment. Exodites, I'll pull them up.
The first thing I did was like whoop and holler, and the second thing I did was like have a massive anxiety complex of over how fast those are going to sell it and how hard it's going to be to get that freaking set.
Well, I'm going to order 6 of them is my plan. I think with 6 of them, I can make a 2,000 point Eldar army.
Oh my god!
Exodite.
Does this mean we're getting more? Like, can we
I
have more?
really, I think GW does this thing where they're like, nobody buys Eldar, so we won't make anything cool that's Eldar. I think people are hungry for Eldar, especially when they're weird like this. So I'm sharing right now.
Oh, they're so pretty.
They're so freaking cool. These are like the coolest thing ever.
You know, actually, I could just take, if they made a whole Warhammer game that was just like Warhammer and dinosaurs, I mean, like all of it.
I got a pitch. You ready?
Yes, please.
Warhammer 40K game. Shit, what is that game called where you killed the Titans?
Titanicus?
No. It's a very famous game done by the guy who did Ico.
Shadow of Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus, but Warhammer. And
Oh my
instead
God.
of killing giant monsters, you're killing Eldar Titans, you're killing Orc Stompas, you're killing all the Titanic things from the 41st millennium.
Let's just manifest that right now.
And
I
you
would
have
play
to
it.
you have to climb it, because if you wanted to kill a warlord titan, you'd have to freaking, it has people live on it,
Make it happen.
Whole adventure just on a Warhound type or Warlord type.
Oh yeah, where they have to travel places and there's a little city. And, yeah, it's awesome.
I can commit 4-digit figures of money to make that happen. So you make it happen.
All right, I will. I got you covered.
Amy's in the background going, how much are you going to commit?
4
4 digits, maybe up to $9,999. Full. Yeah, that's your whole dev budget. Make it work.
Don't worry, I've got a company that would sell you it. Used to work for them.
We were talking today that if they made, one of my friends was like, yeah, I've been playing on Tabletop Simulator. I'm like, oh boy, they are cracking down hard on that one. And if GW, I mean, I know they never will because they have to sell miniatures, but if they made a subscription service that was online Warhammer, I would pay for that.
I think their concern is that if they distance themselves from the miniatures, they're exiting their wheelhouse.
Well, they're giving an off-ramp.
Yeah, they're basically saying, here's a Steam valve that if we're ever not producing enough content to keep your interest, here it is, but digital.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of wrong, and they're underestimating how awesome miniatures are. And I think they're underestimating. I know we like to do this thing where we're like, young people are dumb, empty-headed homunculi who will never improve or do anything unique or new. But I bet you if you put miniatures in front of young people, a lot of them will go, wow, these are freaking cool as shit. I want to build and paint them.
Yeah. I really, that's one of the things that disappoints me a lot going to stores is I don't see that happening a lot. It's a bunch of old grognards just playing the games they've been playing, and they don't really, very few stores feel like Jester's was.
Well, very few stores are like Jester's at all, Rich. Jester's was a very unique store.
Yeah.
It
sounds like a magical place of myth and legend.
Yeah, truly.
I always felt that everybody wanted to play Warhammer. They just didn't know about it.
I agree with you, Rich.
I was talking to my brother-in-law yesterday, and he was a big Star Wars fan, and he's starting to fall off. And I was like, well, let me tell you about Warhammer. And I thought he wasn't really paying attention. He goes, wait, where do I find out more about this? And that was when I hook, line, and sinker, and I'm telling him all the lore and stuff.
If I ever do another game store, it's going to be a Church of the Emperor first.
So that
Nice.
you don't have to pay taxes.
That's right. Well,
Yeah.
because also
Rich,
it's improved.
you're in New Jersey. The archdiocese is going to show up, and they're like going to break everything in the room, and like a bunch of.
Like, look, I got 466 skulls. I followed the rules.
Yeah, Rich, I gotta tell you this. It was so funny. I was talking about it with two friends who I grew up playing Pokemon with in the Cape May area. And then we'd start talking about getting into Magic cards when we were kids. And we were talking about, you've never played Zelda Majora's Mask, I'm sure, Rich.
No.
There's a character in it called the Happy Mask Salesman.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
kind of unnerving because no matter where you go, he's the vendor. You show up at a different shop, that guy shows up. And the reality is, Rich, for us, you were our Happy Mask salesman. Because we started out going to this place across the street from the Bayshore 8 called Ye Old Timey Shop or something like that.
That was me.
Yep, and that was Rich. Rich was behind the counter selling the cards.
That store is what made me start Jesters, because everybody was coming in and being like, oh, I want this, oh, I want that. And I'm like, man, why isn't, and I talked to, I think it was Bill was the name of the owner. I'd be like, hey, if we get this in, we could sell it. Oh, I don't want to carry that. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just open my own store.
And then you ran it for what? 23 years?
18 years.
18 years. That's one. That is awesome. Just showing off what I got painted here, and then I'll flip it over to you guys.
I didn't do much of anything. I have painted some stone.
I've gotten these Dark Eldar, base coated. The exciting part begins now, kind of, though. I'm going to really make their, head turn orange, and then eventually the tips of their hair will be yellow. So their whole head will be this kind of cool element. And then I'll probably really push the saturation up on their guns. But I think it's off to a good start. Rich, I'm going to pop it over to you. Why don't you show off what you did?
Yeah, so I started with nothing, and now I have some green.
This verdigris ironwork.
Yep.
Really
exactly.
cool, Rich.
Yeah.
Really cool. Very neat.
Sketched it.
Dusty, do you have anything to show? Can I?
No, I mean, I just got paint the whole time, and now I have his base is gray.
Hey, guess what, gang? If you did that every single night, though, eventually the mini would be done.
That's how I get them done.
To me, if you make
Hold on
forward.
1 second, Robbie. Don't go off yet.
All right.
Min wants to show something.
I'm going to flip it back to you then, Rich.
Yep.
Let's see it. Mim, what have you painted for?
Running to get it now.
Awesome. Well, no need.
We had a really that session with with Alvis. So he's done he does a lot of this is from a very obscure game. What's the name of the game? I don't know, but it's a board game that's roughly Viking era.
Wow, look at that green nose go into the red, and then the same on the ears and the knuckles.
Mm-hmm.
Pops.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
Pops.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love the eyes, love the teeth, love the cartoonish vibe.
That thing did not look that good before it was painted.
I
feel like you dressed up the plastic there a lot.
Yeah, this is a board game mini. This is not a. Oh, speaking of which, real quick, I painted this a long time ago.
Incredible work, man.
Yeah, well done.
That looks amazing.
But speaking of Frank Frazetta, this is the Conan miniature from the board game that's based right off of Frank Frazetta's.
I want everyone to look up what these miniatures look like because I've actually seen these miniatures, and in my opinion, I don't like the way these miniatures look, but this looks incredible. Wow, Rich.
It's probably my favorite, bronze.
You painted the hell out of it, dude. That bronze is killing. I can't get over this green though. Min's Troll, love it.
This is the game Runar or something.
Runar, I know Runar. Yeah.
There's the troll. But
who makes that?
That's their Runar board game.
Runar board game.
What publisher is that?
Ludus Magnet.
Yeah, I have heard of that. I haven't seen much about it, but no,
Love it.
That's
Green looks
the rich and min glam up on both those miniatures.
Oh yeah. Y'all really pushed them to the heights of their.
Yeah, this is your plastic Conan miniatures. So I haven't painted too many of them since then because I thought like I couldn't do any better than that one.
Well, I'm done here. It's never gonna get better
Yeah,
than this.
I can never get a better miniature than this, but
Yeah, I think you both did incredible. They look great.
my next project, we just decided after we finish Scythe Legacy, we're going to play the Warhammer Quest. What is it, Dark Water? Or
Dark
whatever?
Water.
Yeah.
Dark Water's a cool set.
That's my
The miniatures are really cool. I haven't
once I get my miniature done. Well, it's not really a miniature, but once I get my entry for Gen Con done, then I'll start painting the rest of those. But Gen Con is going to be the big baby.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
I'll show them next. I'll bring them next. Oh no, next week.
Yeah.
Next week I will be at Pigment. I'll probably be able to do it. It's in Texas, and the show's over by then. But it's Pigment in Austin, Texas, and it's the first miniatures painting show. There's no Warhammer tournaments. There's nothing else. It's just miniatures painting, and probably a dozen of the best painters in the country are teaching classes there, and we're going to be.
That's cool.
Classes. It's sponsored.
I got to get in on these classes at some point. I feel like you're
Turbo
on.
Dork. Yeah, Turbo Dork is doing it, and Verco's right now. Every Verco's new one is conflicting with a convention I'm already doing, unfortunately. But
Darn.
you should come to Necronomicon in Providence in mid August, Robbie. Not miniatures.
That's one that I could do because forever
that's Lovecraft. It's all Lovecraft. Everything role playing. All the guys from.
Is there like a film festival aspect to it?
Yeah, the film festival sets up there as
Mid-August?
well. Mid-August, yeah. Necronomicon in Providence, Rhode Island. It's on Lovecraft's birthday weekend.
Yeah, let me look into that. I actually think I might be able to do that one.
I can add on to the hotel room if you want. We're staying. I can get you my titanium level stuff.
Okay, let me look into that because if
Right,
it doesn't block with anything, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and if you want to fly into like Newark or somewhere, I can pick you up on the way.
Yeah, I figure if I'm doing it, I'd probably like meet you in New Jersey a little bit before.
Yeah, that's cool. There, we have a guest room, so you're always welcome.
Cool. All right, well, let's figure it out then. That sounds doable.
You're welcome too, Dusty. Don't feel left out.
Oh, I won't. Don't worry.
All right, guys. Have a good week.
All right, see ya. Bye.
All right, bye.